while streaming at work. Turn my mic up. I'll have to talk quietly. Oh, there's lots of background noise. Hopefully it doesn't hurt us too bad. This is just going to be a long one studying a particular topic because I want to prepare for a series video on morality. So I need to go back and do some studies, and we'll do it live as much as we can. Although I am at work, so I will have interruptions. For how long and when, I don't know. It'll be sporadic. Leave the stream running and stuff. So we'll start with some reading. Maybe find a video or two to watch. Of course, our moral authority is Google. These last couple of buses before I really get started here. I have to wait for a certain time to take off. Maybe another 2 minutes or so. Oh, hello. Yeah, might be a little blank. I can come on camera because I'm not supposed to have a uniform anyway. Yeah. According to Oxford Languages, morality principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong and good and bad behavior, a particular system of values and principles of conduct, especially one held by a specified person or society, plurally moralities, and the extent to which an action is right or wrong. Is this action moral, immoral, amoral? So this is 4 types of morality. Let's see what this says. Religious morality, morality in nature, individual morality, and social morality. In discussing the application of morality, 4 aspects may be considered. I'll take a few notes here. Look into these more. Yeah, I'm taking old-fashioned notes on a piece of paper. I don't know if morality in nature. I'm gonna write natural. Is there morality in nature, right? Individual, social, of course. Social. PearsonHigherEd.com, the nature of morality. Well, because let's go there. Wait. Let's see what these questions say first. Can a person be moral but not ethical? Good question. A moral action can also be unethical. A lawyer who tells the court that his client is guilty may be acting out of a moral desire to seek justice done, but this is deeply unethical because it violates the attorney-client privilege. Good answer. Wait for the train to pass. Yeah, Gio, I'm in the middle of a bus depot right next to a train station. Fun. Sometimes people stop and ask me for directions. For the most part, I just sit here and people watch, though, which is something I kind of like to do anyway. So pretty easy. But I am in a shack, not right outside. I have a little cubicle in the middle of the depot. Still on the station Wi-Fi. Might just be the train interfering. I'm gonna mute because I have to cough, as if the train whistle wasn't bad enough. Horn, whatever. Call it a whistle, some people call it a horn. Alright, the 5 core moral values, according to this one. Universal values are group discovered through this process: respect, responsibility, fairness, honesty, and compassion. So this must be from a study or think tank or something. ACC docket. I don't know what that is. Maybe we'll look at the other one first. Shoot. Scratchy throat. Muting again. I'm day 2 back on my medication, so it's weird when you stop smoking at first, you actually kind of start coughing stuff up more. Imagine that. 3 principles of morality. This is just basic ethical principles. 3 basic principles, among those generally accepted in our cultural tradition, are particularly relevant to the ethics of research involving human subjects, principles of respect of persons, beneficence, and justice. It's also interesting. Okay, so let's read this Nature of Morality article here. Yeah, here we go. Now they're getting on the last one. Get everybody the hell away from my guard shack, except this lady. She's still going to stand here. That's okay. Ooh, PDF, fancy. Fancy. It's fancy. It's a PDF file. Must be educational if they put it in a PDF file, right? Chapter 1, The Nature of Morality. How many chapters are there in here? It's kind of scary. How long is this piece? Oh, we're not going to get through all this. 29 pages. No, it's not that bad. We make it through. Got some time. It takes a little while. I'm going to blow this up for you a little bit so you can actually read it if you want to. But I'm going to read it aloud, obviously. So, morality claims our lives. Morality claims our lives? Is that how they open this? It's kind of a weird thing to say. Morality claims our lives? Is that a real claim? Morality claims our lives. It makes claims upon each of us that are stronger than the claims of law and takes priority over self-interest. I hope this isn't written by a freaking Christian group or something, because that would be disappointing. Objectives. Okay, so this does look actually educational. And one second. Sorry?
Do you know when the next one comes?
The 580?
Yeah. Because that one he said he was not in service. He said it was one coming behind him, but I haven't seen it. Like this shit right here coming.
Check the app for it. You see it?
Okay, I'm out here freezing to death. I did not know it was cold out here like this. I used to live out here when I was little.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's been colder this year. Yeah, it says it's gonna be like 8 minutes. So.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Objectives. After you have read this chapter, you should be able to define philosophy and explain the relationship of ethics to it, define key terms concerning ethics or morality, explain the various approaches to the study of morality, understand what morality is and how it differs from aesthetics, moral behavior and manners, understand to whom morality applies, doesn't it apply to everyone, have some idea of where morality comes from, distinguish between morality and the law, distinguish between morality and religion, and understand why human beings should be moral. So, so far, no mention of God there. So, hopefully this is not religious, but it's going to say the distinguishing between morality and religion, which won't account for our type of religious morality that we read about in the rundown from earlier. Okay, so morality claims our lives. It makes claims upon each of us that are stronger than the claims of law. It takes priority over self-interest. As human beings living in the world, we have basic duties and obligations. There are certain things we must do, ought to do, and certain things we must not do, or ought not to do, right? In other words, there is an ethical dimension of human existence. As human beings, we experience life in a world of good and evil. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it. I was thinking about that earlier too, whether I agree with the usage of evil. Talk about that a little bit. But let me finish the passage here and understand certain kinds of actions in terms of right and wrong. The very structure of human existence dictates that we must make choices. Ethics helps us use our freedom responsibly and understand who we are, and ethics gives us direction in our struggle to answer the fundamental questions that ask how we should live our lives and how we can make right choices. Okay, that's a pretty good rundown. I take issue with the word evil, even though it is kind of a colloquial term, but to say that evil is synonymous with like the most bad thing, the worst thing, or that evil is synonymous with wrongdoing. I mean, we have words like bad and wrong, right? The worst possible bad is evil, right? But and I could be wrong. I would have to look at I'm not going to look at the etymology right now, but it seems like when most people think of evil, they think of it in relation to a deity. Like a lot of people see it as a religious thing. The opposite of God is evil, but they consider God to be synonymous with good, right? Which creates a lot of, like, when you say, are there evil people? Evil meaning ungodly is really what they mean to say, right? And that's why atheists are accused of being evil, because without God, according to them, you can't do good. You must necessarily be evil, right? Maybe it sounds like it. I mean, it's just a philosophical dilemma, I guess, an issue I have with language. But I don't. I think it's we're best off as human beings if we dispense of the word evil and the concept of evil in that sense, and just really call it right and wrong, good and bad. But that's it's minor. I guess we can work around that. What is philosophy and ethics relationship to it? Philosophy literally means love of wisdom, from the Greek words philia meaning love or friendship and sophia meaning wisdom. The following three areas of philosophy will be our major concern in this book: epistemology, the study of knowledge; metaphysics, the study of the nature of reality; and ethics, the study of morality. Aesthetics, the study of values in art or beauty; and logic, the study of argument and the principles of correct reasoning, are two additional areas of philosophy that constitute its five major branches. They have a very charitable definition of metaphysics there, but I mean, hey, it's actually a workable one. Oh no. Well, she looks kind of calm today. I thought he was out here screaming at random stuff the other day. Um, okay. Epistemology deals with the following questions: what is knowledge? What are truth and falsity, and to what do they apply? What is required for someone to actually know something? What is the nature of perception and how reliable is it? What's the difference between knowledge and belief? Is there anything such as certain knowledge? Um, Anything we call certain knowledge, we could also just say that's truth, right? And things we know to be true for certain, right? Can a knowledge be? Because a belief can, um, as they say, there's a difference between truth and what you believe, but From time to time throughout this book, epistemological questions will be discussed, especially in Chapter 5, which deals with absolutes and truth. Oh, okay. There we go. Preempted it. Metaphysics is the study of the nature of reality, asking the following questions. What is the nature of reality and of things that exist? Specifically, such questions as the following are asked. Is there really cause and effect? And, if so, how does it work? What is the nature of the physical world? And is there anything other than the physical, such as the mental or spiritual? I think we can quickly say that cause and effect absolutely exists. To what extent it kind of um, to what extent the principle of cause and effect is constant and fundamental in the universe that we live in, right? It's kind of the question at hand, I think. And is there anything other than the physical, such as the mental or spiritual? As far as the mental, we'd say that mental, T-Jump says, is a property of the physical, right? But that doesn't mean that the mental doesn't exist. It just means that there's no thing that is the mental without a physical thing, right? I don't know. What is the nature of human beings? That's a vague question. Is there freedom in reality, or is everything predetermined? Here again, we will deal with some of these questions throughout the book, but especially in Chapter 5. Are there any absolutes, or is anything really relative? And Chapter 6, is there any such thing as freedom, or are all things in reality predetermined? Ethics, our main concern, deals with what is right or wrong in human behavior and conduct. It asks such questions as this is the driver. Okay, see? Those unexpected things that come up. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, we'll start over there. Ethics, our main concern, deals with what is right or wrong in human behavior and conduct. It asks questions such as what constitutes any person or action being good, bad, right, or wrong. Did I already? I got lost here. Questions throughout the book. Yeah, okay, that's where we were. And how do we know, epistemology, what part does self interest or the interest of others play in the making of moral decisions and judgments? What the what Ories of what theories? I see. I missed the hyphen there. What theories of conduct are valid or invalid, and why? Should we use principles or rules or laws as the basis for our choices? Should we use principles or rules or laws as the basis for our choices, or should we let each situation decide our morality? Are killing, lying, cheating, stealing, and certain kinds of sexual acts right or wrong, and why or why not? As you can see, the above three areas of philosophy are related and at times overlap, but each one is worthy of concentrated study in itself. The major concern in this book, as the title suggests, is ethics, and before going any further, it is important to define some key terms used in any discussion of ethics or morality. This should be important. We got the new moniker Sim Champ over at William Freeman's channel earlier. That was fun. Okay, let's put this in. I'm going to embrace it, just like everything else. Call me an evolutionist, I'm going to embrace it. They call me a simp, I'm going to embrace it. Down with that. Definition of key terms: ethical, moral, unethical, immoral. Right. Okay. In ordinary language, we frequently use the words ethical and moral and unethical and immoral interchangeably. That is, we speak of the ethical or moral person or act. On the other hand, we speak of codes of ethics, but only infrequently do we mention codes of morality. Some reserve the terms moral and immoral only for the realm of sexuality and use the words ethical and unethical when discussing how the business and professional communities should behave towards their members or toward the public. I don't even think I don't know who reserved the terms moral and immoral for the realm of sexuality. I know religious people do it often, but I don't think they reserve it like merely for that. There's still other moral and immoral acts, but they just call it sin. They're still talking about morality, and the commandments and the guidelines of the Bible would be a moral code by definition. But that's fine. Um, discussing uh, ethical and unethical when discussing how the business and professional communities should behave towards their members or toward the public. I see. I feel like you're talking about behavior, but there's an aspect of aesthetics to that, right? Because when we talk about professionalism, um, right, it might be considered unethical to wear like a shirt that states like an opinion or position on something. Right, like I wouldn't want to wear like a proud to be an atheist shirt to work, right? Because that would be unprofessional. Would it be unethical? Right, but it would be unethical if I were to go around trying to deconvert Christians at my job. That would be unethical and unprofessional, right? I don't know. But again, they're just talking about certain groups of people, I suppose, here, so it's not. More commonly, however, we use none of these words as often as we use the terms good, bad, and right and wrong. What do all of these words mean, and what are their relationships among them? Ethics comes from the Greek ethos, meaning character. Morality comes from the Latin moralis, meaning customs or manners. So ethics actually means character, and morals actually means customs or manners from the original language. Ethics, then, seems to pertain to the individual character of a person or persons, whereas morality seems to point to the relationships between human beings. Nevertheless, in ordinary language, whether we call a person ethical or moral, or an act unethical or immoral, doesn't really make any significant difference. In philosophy, however, the term ethics is also used to refer to a specific area of study, the area of morality, which concentrates on human conduct and human values. Okay. One second. Oh my goodness. You know what? It's way better than last night. I'm not going to complain. Okay. When we speak of people as being moral or ethical, we usually mean that they are good people. And when we speak of them as being immoral or unethical, we mean that they are bad people. When we refer to certain human actions as being moral, ethical, immoral, and unethical, we mean that they are right or wrong. The simplicity of these definitions, however, ends here. For how do we define a right or wrong action or a good or a bad person? What are the human standards by which such decisions can be made? These are the more difficult questions that make up the greater part of the study of morality, and they will be discussed in more detail in later chapters. The important thing to remember here is that moral, ethical, immoral, and unethical essentially mean good, right, bad, and wrong, often depending upon whether one is referring to people themselves or to their actions. Decent breakdown. Once again, I don't think there could necessarily be good or bad people. I mean, I think people have good or bad actions. I think the actions make the person inherently one or the other, right? Now, you might say that person does bad things because they had a bad upbringing, right? But then they're still culpable for their behavior, but you're putting a causation behind their culpability in their behavior. Or maybe you don't. I don't know. 737 coming out of the sky. We'll take a commercial break since it's so bloody boring. Alright, moral or immoral? Go.
Magnavolt, the final word in auto security. No embarrassing alarm noise, no need to trouble the police. And it won't even run down your battery.
Magnavolt. Lethal response.
Now you're going to hear some other loud background noise probably because I got my heater running in here. It's pretty chilly. So hopefully it's not terribly annoying. I guess I'll find out later. This is really going to test what I could do out here on the Wi-Fi. And well, obviously I have to deal with just the random interruptions and noises from the outside world. But whether or not that's going to be too prevalent remains to be seen. Anyway, let's actually just match up. So we're going to put that note off to the side while we read this so we can take other notes, and then we'll go back to that. We're still only on page 3, so good ways to go unless we just sidebar and come back to this later. We want to stay focused. Stay focused, damn you. Brain, stay focused. Characteristics of good, bad, right, wrong, happiness, or pleasure. Now they're throwing happiness and pleasure in there. My friend Travis Pangburn has an interesting theory about morality and pleasure drive, what he calls the pleasure drive, which he believes guides almost all, or maybe all of human behavior and human nature, which I think is an interesting concept. I'm not sure if he's actually published his work on that. We're still in the process of that. See, we just went from having 30 people, 25, 30 people to 8, 10, including a driver. Dun, dun, dun. Another one rides the bus. It seems to be an empirical fact. It seems to be an empirical fact that whatever human beings consider to be good involves happiness and pleasure in some way, and whatever they consider to be bad involves unhappiness and pain in some way. Right, or harm. And I think the harm principle is simple to understand, but a lot of people, I guess, it's easier to argue with. Right. I guess sometimes you'd say that it is justified, or in other words, it is morally justified, it is good to cause harm or take someone's life, especially if they are causing harm to, or trying to take the life of another, right? This view of what is good has traditionally been called hedonism, as long as the widest range of interpretation is given to these words, from simple sensual pleasures to intellectual or spiritual pleasures, and from sensual pain to deep emotional unhappiness. It is difficult to deny that whatever is good involves at least some pleasure or happiness, and whatever is bad involves some pain or unhappiness. One element involved in the achievement of happiness is the necessity of taking the long range rather than the short range view. Let's see what they mean by that. And there's also another school of thought that says, I remember learning this, I've talked about this before, in a drug diversion program I went through years ago because I got busted with a little bit of pot in my car back when that was still a thing. Um, I went to this diversion program, and the guy there said one thing that resonated with me about the nature of addiction, which was that it's in every person's nature to seek pleasure and avoid pain. The problem is when that pleasure sensation gets hijacked, or one becomes so averted to pain that they can't deal with any type of pain, like stress or anything like that. Right? That's when you fall into the grip of addiction. Um, you become addicted because you want to avoid suffering, and it's just that whatever it is that you're addicted to has hijacked that pleasure sensor. So you perceive any external stimulus other than that substance as a stressor or as undesirable. So I don't know if it seems like there's a dilemma there. Okay, one element involved in the achievement of happiness is the necessity of taking the long range rather than the short range view. People may undergo some pain or unhappiness in order to attain some pleasure or happiness in the long run. Right. So working out, can be painful. It can be strenuous. Sometimes people don't like to do it, but if you want to have a lean, muscular body, you're going to have to work out. Right. For example, we will put up with the pain of having our teeth drilled in order to keep our teeth and gums healthy so that we may enjoy eating and the general good health that results from having teeth that are well maintained. That's a good example, too. Okay. Similarly, people may do very difficult and even painful work for 2 days in order to earn money that will bring them pleasure and happiness for a week or two. Furthermore, the term good should be defined in the context of human experience and human relationships rather than in an abstract sense only. For example, knowledge and power in themselves are not good unless a human being derives some satisfaction from them, or unless they can contribute in some way to moral and meaningful human relationships. They are otherwise non-moral. I think when they say non-moral, they mean amoral. They have no moral function, right? So, furthermore, the term good should be defined in the context of human experience and human relationships rather than in an abstract sense only, right? So, abstractly good, we're talking about good in terms of how they affect human experience, human relationships. Knowledge and power in themselves are not good unless a human being derives some satisfaction from them, or unless they contribute in some way to moral and meaningful human relationships. They are otherwise non-moral. What about actions that will bring a person some good but will cause pain to another, such as those acts of a sadist who gains pleasure from violently mistreating another human being? Our original statement was that everything that is good will bring some person satisfaction, pleasure, or happiness of some kind. But this statement does not necessarily work in the reverse, that everything that brings someone satisfaction is necessarily good. There certainly are malicious pleasures. Okay. We can't make, actually add this to this other list. So we're not making universal or objective statements about morality. These pertain to human beings, right? And there are a lot of people that will ask, can you make universal or objective statements about morality? And then they might go so far as to claim that they can get them out of the Bible. I don't necessarily believe that's the case, but people will claim that, argue for it. So it's one thing to consider. Excellence. William Frankenus states that whatever is good will also probably involve some kind or degree of excellence. It's interesting. We were talking about that at Travis Pangburn's Hangout a day or so ago, about what we mean by excellence, and we were talking about Aristotle at that time. So let's see if I remember anything juicy from that one while we're going into this talk on excellence. Some kind or degree of excellence. Let's actually look up excellence. See if we can get a proper dictionary definition, because people were like arguing over what's excellent. The quality of being outstanding or extremely good. So excellent, in this sense, is kind of the opposite of evil, right? Like if we consider evil the most outstanding or extremely bad, excellence would be the opposite of the antithesis. Uh, language, though, standing speech. Lack of extreme goodness. I'm a little bit. That throws me off a bit. Why is it saying that? I'm still connected. Don't scare me like that. They did off one night of the holiday. So it might just be pulled too hard on it. Okay. Excellent is an important addition. Wait for the train. Go, train, go. Oh, I apologize about that. It looks like I buffering all over the place. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, I might end it then. Shoot. That sucks. I've got a situation arising out here anyway. Alright, we'll call it good for tonight. I'll see what the issue is here and if I can do anything to fix it. Might just be because it's a public Wi-Fi network. Or it might be because I have a bajillion things going on around me. Alright, Stupid Monkey out. We'll continue reading this one. Hopefully I'm not kicked off the internet at my mom's house. Probably even finish it tonight, but it's going to take me a couple hours before I get back. So, thank you, GeoSam. Anybody else watching past, present, or future? Sorry about the terrible production value, but it is what it is. I'm just a simp chimp and a stupid monkey. Alright, take it easy. We'll talk to you soon.